Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another NRL tipping video. My name's Cody, and tonight I'm here to bring you my first Origin-affected round tips of 2024. Of course, it's round 13 of the 2024 NRL season. We are now halfway through the season, and oh boy, what a crazy first 12 weeks we've had so far. We've seen a lot of upsets, we've seen a lot of floggings. I mean, just last week, I think we had like 5 of the 8 victory teams scoring 40 points or more. That was unreal. Last week was also Indigenous round, so it was great to have Indigenous round once again. And as for the tips, I got 4 out of 8 correct. I would have gotten 6 out of 8 correct if Broncos didn't lose, Titans somehow won, and Warriors came back to beat the Dolphins, 24-20 of course, but can't win them all, unfortunately. But the best part of last week was my boys, the Rabbitohs, we finally got our second win of the season over the Parramatta Eels, 42-26 on Saturday night. I'm glad I was there. Great time, great vlog. It was wild. I went off at Chris Butler. Who cares about him? But anyways, if you guys haven't checked out that vlog, make sure you guys go check it out once you've done watching this video. But anyways, we're here to get into round 13 tips. It's obviously going to be a short round only. It's going to be 5 games. So if you want to try and get a technical perfect round, this will probably be your best opportunity. Best I've only done so far is 5 wins each for 2 rounds this year, and I'm hoping I can get a perfect round with 5 out of 5 this week. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the video. And I just wanted to say before we get into it, we have reached 1,500 subscribers not too long ago. Thank you all so much for that. Really appreciate you all. Let's get to 1,600 subscribers by the end of June. But let's get into the first game of round 13, and the first game kicking off on Thursday. Surprisingly, there's a Thursday night game for only 5 games in one round, but it is what it is. First game kicking off from CommBank Stadium at 7:50 p.m. in Parramatta. We have the 15th place Parramatta Eels taking on the first place Cronulla Sharks. Now, Eels losing ways continues. Brad Arthur was sacked last Monday. The way he got let out of the club was obviously uncalled for and not right, but they were trying to get Wayne Bennett, the Parramatta board, but obviously that wasn't the case. But Eels lost though. I think that's like 4 or 5 in a row losses now. And Moses and Gufferson are likely to be back this week. One of them, or potentially both. And they lost 42-26 against my boys, who lost 6 in a row. And they got the job done. And as for the Sharks, where do I start with the Sharks? They were poisoned to be the best game of the round last week against Penrith. And what happened? They got demolished 42-0 against the three-peat premiers. What the fuck? I did not expect that to see that happening. To see a team like that, who's led the comp for almost half the season so far, and they didn't score a single point, getting beaten by more than 40 points in front of the home crowd, sold out too. That was shocking and humiliating for the Sharks. And they're not going to turn this around. Oh boy, there's going to be question marks. I know that we've got Origin and that, but doesn't matter if you have Origin players or not. If you lose, Sharks lose this one, you're going to be in all sorts of trouble. But yes, Sharks are surprisingly still in first, 2 points clear of the Storm and the Panthers. Now the Sharks are the favourites at the moment at $1.46. The Eels are at $2.71 outsiders. In the past 10 games between these two, Sharks have won 7 of the last 10, which includes winning the last 2. Winning the last 2 games. First one back in 22, where the Sharks won 18-16. That was that points bet. And then their most recent game, back at CommBank, which was last year, the Sharks winning 30-26. And this will be only their lone game against each other this year. And I should point out as well that this will only be the 3rd game between the two at CommBank Stadium. The first time back in 2021, surprisingly, where the Eels won 28-4. And then, like I just said, the Sharks beat them the last time at CommBank, 30-26. And that was probably in the first few rounds of last year. But it's currently 1-1 record at CommBank between these two. But we'll see how this game will go. Now, as for Origin, I will go through each game to see who has been selected for New South Wales and Queensland for both teams. So, start off with the Sharks, both from New South Wales. Nico Hines is the halfback for the Blues. And also Cameron McInnes is also in the New South Wales squad, starting at lock position at number 13. And as for the Eels, they only have the one player, and that is Jermaine Hopgood, who is at number 16 on the bench for the Queensland side. So I think obviously the Sharks will be the more affected side, but for this one, I think Sharks will definitely back this one. I mean, if they lose this one, they're going to be in all sort of race. I will go to Sharks to win 1-12 by only 8 points this time. We'll go 24-16 scoreline for try scorers. Try scorer for Para, we'll go Sivo, and then for the Sharks, we will go Sana Katoa to score for the Sharks. So Sharks win by 8. Now we move on to the second game of round 13, the early lone Friday game kicking off at 8 p.m. up at McDonald Jones Stadium up in Newcastle. We have the 7th place Newcastle Knights taking on the 10th place Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Bulldogs last week are coming off a thrashing win over the Dragons, winning 44-12 and scoring 38 unanswered points in the second half against the Dragons. Dragons didn't score a single point in the second half last Thursday out of the core. And Dogs have been a lot more better. I mean, defense has been better. Attack's getting better as well, so they're getting better. And as for the Knights, they're coming off their first bye last week, and the week before they came back to beat the Gold Coast Titans, or Gold Coast Chokers, 28-24 to kick off Magic Round on the Saturday 2 weeks ago. Great comeback, and David Armstrong scoring a hat-trick. He pretty much carried the Knights in that game, but he was outstanding. While Pong has been absent, and they've won 4 in a row, the Knights, which that's just amazing. Now, obviously, these two, the last few games hasn't been easy. The last 3 games in particular have been decided by 24 points or more. Notably, the 2 games last year, where the Knights killed the Dogs both times, 66-0 first up out of core. And then the other game, 42-6 last year up at McDonald Jones, which that is very funny if you think about it. But when we get into the stats, we'll talk about what happened in the other game this year. So anyways, at the moment, the Knights are currently the favourites at $1.54, and the Bulldogs are $2.49 outsiders. For Origin, the Knights don't have any players for Origin for Game 1. The Dogs do. They've got Stephen Crichton playing at number 3 in the centres for New South Wales, and Matt Burton is the 18th player on the extended bench. So he may be a late call-in for Game 1, but that means he won't be playing this week at all, which, I mean, Dogs will be without them, but it is what it is. But I think the Knights will do good for this round. In the past 10 games between these two, the Knights have won 6 of the last 10, which includes winning 4 of the last 6 games. However, the most recent clash, which was back on April 21st, so just over a month ago, the Dogs shockingly won 36-12, and that was out of the core stadium as well. Just a few days back in round 7 before Anzac Day. So, holy crap, unbelievable for the Dogs to finally get their revenge after getting flopped 42-6 and 66-0 last year. But no, for this game, I know Dogs did beat them early in the year, and the Dogs do have Stephen Crichton out, and along with Matt Burton. However, Knights have been in great form. David Armstrong has been a great young fullback in place of Ponga. I will take the Knights to win this one. It's also back in Newcastle. So I'll go the Knights to win this one by 1-12. We'll go the Knights to win by 6. Scoreline, I think we will go 16-10. For try scorers for both sides, for the Knights, we'll go David Armstrong, and then for the Bulldogs, we'll go Jacob Preston off the bench. I think he will be playing on the bench most likely for the Dogs. So we'll go him for a try scorer. So Knights to win by 1-12. All right, now we move on to Super Saturday, the first of 2 games this time. First one kicking off at 5:30 p.m. taking place at Bluebet Stadium in Penrith. We have the second place Penrith Panthers taking on the 12th place Sir George Illawarra Dragons. Dragons coming off a flogging against the Dogs last week. Did lead at halftime 12-6, but Dragons did not score a single point in the second half. They conceded 38 points in one half. Disgraceful performance from the Dragons, and sucks that Zach Bird is unfortunately injured. It wasn't as bad as we first thought. It's confirmed to be a cystinosis injury, so Jack Bird will be out for a few weeks. All the best to him. How he got injured was just horrific. They should have stopped playing. They didn't, even though he was off the field. I mean, he jumped off the field, but they should have stopped playing by then anyway, but whatever anyway. And as for Penrith, last week they managed to finally get back to their winning ways, completely demolishing and steamrolling over the first place Cronulla Sharks, winning 42-0 at PointsBet Stadium last week. Great performance for Penrith. Should have been a better game, honestly, but can't wish for everything. So shows you how dominant Penrith are still to be a threat to win their 4th premiership in a row, but we'll have to wait and see. At the moment, obviously the Panthers are the favourites at $1.47, and Dragons are outsiders at $2.70. Now, both teams do have Origin players playing. Penrith have got 5. I'm not kidding. 5 in the one squad in New South Wales, and Dragons have got 2, 1 in Queensland, 1 in New South Wales. Making his debut for the Origin Arena for the Blues, Zach Lomax, well deserved. He's been playing outstanding, even though he has complained that he doesn't want to play in the wings. It's whatever. And then obviously the Ben Hunt is also not playing. He's going to be the starting hooker, which that was a surprise. I thought he'll be starting on the bench, but it is what it is. And as for the the Panthers, sorry, Dylan Edwards will also make his debut for State of Origin Game 1. Well deserved. He's been a bit underrated this year. Should he replace James Tedesco is up to debate. I mean, Teddy, he has been good for the last few years, but I think it was time for someone else to take over at fullback, and Dylan Edwards is a well-deserved candidate. Brian Toto is there as always on the left wing. Jerome Luai is in the halves with Nico Hines. Luai is at 5'8". Liam Martin starts at second row, and this time Isaiah Yeo starts at number 14 on the bench over. So Cameron McInnes gets a starting spot over him. That's a surprise, but McInnes has been outstanding this year. Honestly, I think McInnes has been better than Isaiah Yeo. That's just my opinion anyway. But 5 players for Penrith. That's going to be a tough one compared to the Dragons 2. But we'll have to wait and see how it happens. Past 10 games between these two, Penrith have won 6 of the last 10, which means they've won the last 6 games in a row. The last time the Dragons beat the Panthers and the last time they played at Bluebet, they won at Bluebet, my apologies. That was back in 2017. I think that was the second last in round 24 that year, where the Dragons won 16-14 at Bluebet. So Dragons have lost the last 4 games at Bluebet, which, I mean, not many teams have won a Bluebet since Panthers domination, but there you go. For this game, it's pretty straightforward. I will back Penrith for this one. Even though they got 5 players out, I think they'll still get the job done. I'll go 1-12 though, however. I'll go Panthers to win by 12. Scoreline go 24-12. Try scorers for both teams. we'll go Tyrell Sloan for the Dragons, and for the Panthers, we'll go Suruva to score for the Panthers. So Panthers to win by 12. And the final game to wrap up the two Saturday games, kicking off at 7:35 p.m. The second time we are heading up to Redcliffe, heading up to KO Stadium, also known as Dolphins Stadium. We have the 4th place Dolphins taking on the 8th place Canberra Raiders. Now, Raiders coming off a massive loss against the Roosters at their home ground of GIO last week, losing 44-16. I thought it would have been a better competitive game, but it wasn't to be. And the Dolphins coming up short against the Warriors, scoring a late try, but still needed a converted try. But obviously they didn't get there. They let the Warriors win. Just lost 24-20 in a really good game. Even though the Dolphins did lead at a point and let the Warriors come back, it was still a good game nonetheless. Now, as for this one, as for the Origin, Canberra have only got one in Hudson Young, who is on the bench at number 17. I think well-deserved spot for Hudson Young. And as for the Dolphins, they've got 2 players. Felice Kafisi is number 18 on the extended bench, so he may not be playing our Origin 1, so that means he'll may be able to play next week. I think the Dolphins have got the bye day, so it won't really matter. For next week I'm talking about, sorry, not this week. And the other player, obviously the Hammer, Teburai Fido, is also playing for Origin Game 1, starting at centre on the right side in the number 4 position. So not too bad for both teams, but this should be a good game between two nonetheless. Now, Dolphins are in 4th place at $1.61 favourites. Raiders are in 8th place, somehow in the 8 at $2.32 outsiders. Now, there's only been 2 games between the two, both last year. Dolphins winning the first one, 20 points to 14. Ironically, it was at KO Stadium as well, so this will be the second time these two will clash at KO. And the Raiders won their second encounter last year at McDonald's Park, in Wagga Wagga. Controversial though, with field goal 31-30 in a very entertaining game, and this will be the third game between the two, and it's the only game between these two this year. This one's a flip of a coin game as well, honestly, but I will back, even though they came up short last week, I will back the Dolphins to win this one 1-12. They've done well without the Hammer, and I think they'll be fine without him this week. Go Dolphins to win by 6. Scoreline will go 26-20. Try scorers for both Xavier Savage for the Raiders, and for the Dolphins, we'll go Isaiah Katoa to score for the Dolphins. So should be a great game between these two. Dolphins to win 1-12. Alrighty, now we move on to the final game of round 13, the only Sunday game, kicking off at 4:05 at Allianz Stadium at Moore Park. We have the 5th place Sydney Roosters taking on the 11th place North Queensland Cowboys. So Roosters are coming off a dominating win over the Raiders last week, winning 44-16 down at the nation's capital. And the Cowboys winning their second game in a row, winning us 2 games in a row now. Beating the Tigers up in Townsville, winning 42-28. Now this game will both have Origin players out, so just give me a moment to see who's out and who's not going to be playing. So it'll be just one quick second. All right, so for Origin, I'll start off with the Roosters first. New South Wales, Joseph Suaalii will make his debut for State of Origin, starting at number 4 in the centres. Angus Crichton will also be playing, starting in the back row on the right edge for the Blues. Spencer Leniu, who is on the bench in jersey number 16. And Luke Keary is number 19 as a reserve, so he could get the chance to play, but I don't think he will be playing, meaning he'll be able to play for next week's game. I think the Roosters are playing next week, I'm not sure. And as for the Cowboys have got a couple out as well. So through Reece Robson. Reece Robson for New South Wales. So I was about to say Reuben Cotter, but Reuben Cotter starting up prop for Queensland. Reece Robson hooker for New South Wales. And that is it for New South Wales. As for the Queensland side, we got Reuben Cotter, obviously. Valentine Holmes at centre, starting at number 3 in the centres. Murray Taulagi on the wing at number 5. And Tom Diggerton in the halves alongside Captain Daly Cherry Evans. And Jemarai Nanai also playing for Queensland as well. So that, I believe, is 6 players for the Cowboys. Holy shit. So, wow. 6 players, and that's more than the Panthers, who have 5 out for Origin. I mean, just wow. But it'll be interesting to see how the Cowboys will go this week against the Roosters. Anyway, this will be their first time at the brand new Allianz Stadium as well. So it'll be a treat for the Cowboys fans that are going to this game on Sunday. And I might be able to stream this one. We'll have to wait and see if I'm available to or not. But anyways, we'll get on with the rest of the preview. So Roosters are $1.17 favourites. Oh my god, and the Cowboys are $5.10 outsiders. Holy shit, because of how many players they got out. So if you want any money on to put on the Cowboys to win, this is the one, because I think Cowboys could give the upset against the Roosters, but we'll have to wait and see, honestly. In the past 10 games between these two, Roosters have won 7 of the last 10, which includes winning 5 in a row and winning 5 of the last 6. However, last time these two played, which was Magic Round last year, the Cowboys upsetted the Roosters Sunday 4 o'clock, last year. Cowboys winning 20 points to 6. The Roosters were very lucky to get the try in the last few minutes of that game, and oh boy, they were heavy favourites going in this one, and they were destroyed by the Cowboys. But obviously, this one will be fairly straightforward. I know the Cowboys, they got many players out, so do the Roosters, but that Allianz, Cowboys have won 2 in a row, but I don't think it'll be enough to beat the Roosters. However, I will back the Roosters 1-12 only, so all games I've decided to go 1-12 this week. We'll go to Roosters to win by 8. Scoreline will go 22-14. Try scorers for both. Cowboys will go Kyle Felt and to score a try to make a statement. I think James Tedesco will score a try, and I think he'll make a statement of why he should have gotten chosen over Dylan Edwards, but I have to wait and see. And I should mention as well, the new captain for New South Wales is Jake Dvojevic. So it's going to be mate versus mate, because Cherry Evans is the captain for Queensland. Holy moly, we have not seen something like that in a long time. That's for sure. And as for the buys this week, we have 7 teams who have the buy. So this will be one of the 3 times that 7 teams will have a buy. It will be round 13, round 16, and round 19, when there'll be 7 buys for each of those rounds. So we got the Broncos, the Rabbitohs, Sea Eagles, Storm, Titans, Warriors, and the West Tigers all having buys. So that means, unfortunately, we'll still be in last for this round, and then Spoo Bowl game against Titans next week. But wait for that for next week. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that will wrap up my round 13 NRL tips for 2024. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, comment down below to let me know what your tips are, and good luck to your tips this week. State of Origin Game 1 is only next week, and I will be giving you my preview and my prediction for Game 1 following the conclusion, or on Monday, next Monday, following the conclusion of the Roosters-Cowboys game. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting out of here. If you haven't seen my Rabbitohs Eels vlog, make sure you go check it out. It's a wild one. Anyways, see you in the next one.